Glad you're back. It's going to be a really interesting day. It's kind of full of a lot of different things. And one of the first things we're going to talk about is when we have a bad experience. Now, Kate, off. Thank you. When we, come on, you can come up here. Come on, here, not on me. Here, come here, up here, come here, up here, good. Now, when we get a dog, we need to socialize it, we need to teach it to be handled, teach it patience, teach it to walk on a lead. When that's not totally done, we kind of set the dog up to make bad decisions. So training, rehabilitation, conditioning is the process that moves the dog from misunderstanding to understanding of what it should do, how it should react, all those things, so we can get it predictable. And we do that with a lot of dogs, and we set them up to be successful, and we work very hard to help them understand. Well, Tammy, when she first came, had some bumps in life, like lots of other people. So when Tammy was not feeling so good, she got Woody. And the two of them became a little team. In the chair, Woody went everywhere with Tammy. And I knew it wasn't time in the beginning to do anything to Woody that would have inconvenienced him because Tammy wasn't ready for it. And it was the right decision. Tammy needed to feel safe. Woody needed to feel safe. Tammy needed to have some exposure, get some more confidence, feel comfortable in a crowd. Tammy did. Tammy's done a wonderful job. Tammy had a bad experience. Tammy came back. She shared that with everybody here, and I admired her so much. It was so easy to see that Tammy has come a long ways in her willingness, first of all, to stand up to things. Second of all, to be a bit more resilient that she came back from it. I was very proud of her, and she did good. We've been pushing Woody just a little bit, and Woody is not happy about it. He really doesn't like other people to mess with him because he's devoted to Tammy. And so it goes. They're absolutely parallel. So, this week, Woody had a bad experience. Now, when Tammy called me, what did you tell me, Tammy?
Well, I called and said that he was growling at my husband, that he had chewed a hole in the carpet, and he was just not himself.
Yeah. And he growled when you tried to put him in a crate.
Yes, he growled while he was in his crate.
He was really just all of a sudden a different dog. So when you get a phone call like that, you go, whoa. I mean, okay, where do we start? And I asked her some questions, and about all I could do is say bring him to class so that we can play with him a little bit, see what's going on. She walked through the door, and what did I say?
You noticed he had a new haircut.
Did the bad behavior start after the haircut?
Yes.
Why, yes, it did. Now, what would that say?
He was mistreated.
Well, it was a bad experience. It doesn't necessarily mean he was mistreated. It means that something happened. It can be something as simple as cut the nail too short, and all of a sudden, you've betrayed me, I hate you, leave me alone. Dog, what can that little dog do? Okay, it's right here on the table, right? Okay. So, depending on the groomer's understanding and experience, the groomer reacted in the way that they do. Whoever does. So Woody came home with a problem. And then, because he didn't treat Tammy and her husband the way he'd been treating them, what did you do?
I got mad.
She got angry.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And distanced him. Okay. Well, she didn't know what to do. So, what was the fix when you had the bad experience?
It took a long time to realize it had happened, but
Took a while to talk about it.
Yeah, it took time and people to understand. And
The beauty of it is, you didn't shrink away from people, did you?
no,
You came and we talked about it. So you didn't isolate yourself.
no,
No.
no. I made the problem known and
Right.
wanted to work through
And
it.
we worked through it. So, if that's the cure for you, guess what?
I did wrong by him.
No, you didn't do wrong. You put it on hold.
Well, that I did. Yes.
Okay. Now, when we start dealing with things that happen that are not the way they should be, keep in mind, it takes 3 successful repetitions before it's the start of a habit. So, it was one time, wasn't it?
Only one.
Okay. So that doesn't make it a habit, does it?
No.
Okay. We can't beat ourselves up because we made a mistake. You didn't do things deliberately, did you?
No.
No. So if somebody who's with you or somebody who's responsible for you reacts in an inappropriate way, that doesn't mean that they did it deliberately,
Right.
right? Because you have nothing but his best interest in mind.
Absolutely.
So, the way I said to deal with it for Tammy was, we have to have more good experiences, more successful experiences than negative, right? The tough thing about Woody is, he's in the process of learning to trust people. He had an experience.
There's a setback.
It was a little setback. It was not way to the beginning, was it? Because he has had experience and he has had success. But in the mix, okay, so if he's had, in the beginning, 3 bad experiences. 3 bad experiences. He's had a number of good ones, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Then he had another bad experience. So we're right about equal right now. We need to make sure that the next experiences are positive. And then Woody can start the recovery process again. Now when we shove him away, when we isolate him, he's going back down the hill.
He's feeling better today, but
Sure, because look at here.
Yeah, I'm treating him better today.
Last night, Tammy came to class. Woody was tied here. Tammy sat way over there.
I get it.
Okay, so the kid's scared of the dark. So you tie him in the dark. No, it's just like us. When you are fried because things just haven't gone good, the worst thing you can do is isolate yourself. The worst thing you can do is go back down the hill. The worst thing you can do is lose the ground that you've gained. You got to look at the big picture. Okay, if we've had all this good experience, one failure, we got to look at the big picture, not this failure. Okay? And it's the same way with the dog. This is the perfect lesson for you.
did.
To not take people for granted. Now, what did I say you should do with him for a while?
To make his life less stressful
Just-
and quiet, just,
Well, no, there was more to that than that.
well,
There was putting him on the table,
oh, that,
going through the grooming process without really grooming. She may or may not want to groom. There's no reason Tammy couldn't learn to groom this dog herself. There is always a possibility of clash in personalities. Somebody gets sick, somebody gets older, somebody is not used to grooming this, and she's groomed my dogs. Okay, that was those other dogs. There are dogs that clash with personalities. Your other dog may have been very friendly and outgoing. This one isn't. How many times have you changed hairdressers? How many times have you gone to different restaurants?
I should have known something was wrong. She charged me for this time.
Yeah, you think back and you go, oh yeah, okay, first clue.
But she never told you anything?
No.
And I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet because her days, she
Don't worry
starts
about
back.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Once you get him kind of going back, as the ultimate resolution, take him back, stay there. Even if she does nothing more than comb that dog, resolve that fear. When it isn't resolved, it becomes baggage that hangs on this dog the rest of his life. Are they going to
Now,
take me back
Pat,
there?
just a question.
Yeah.
If she didn't go back to that groomer, and let's say she went to another one, would he act the same way
Yeah.
until it's resolved?
Yeah. You have to resolve it. So, like, if it was not possible to go back, what I would do is I would have Tammy bring Woody here. I would go through all the motions on that table of grooming. Not necessarily to groom him, but as a conditioning. It takes 3 successful repetitions.
So you probably have to do that 3 times.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's dogs that hate their toenails done. If you approach it appropriately, in 3 successful repetitions, you can cut those toenails. That doesn't mean they like it.
Let's say that she does take her dog back to this groomer,
Uh-huh.
she's present, and then things aren't going well, what happens then?
Well, you have to do some conditioning before you dump the dog back there. What I'm saying is, she shouldn't necessarily groom him. It's not necessarily for grooming. But to go back there, put the dog on the table, Tammy could hold it. She could take a comb through it. But it's just, with Tammy there, it's resolved. Tammy has to become a hero, not sit back with the dog in the chair. We can't go back there. I guess we'll never groom you again. No.
And it doesn't matter if it's that specific groomer, it can be you.
It would be better if it was.
But it doesn't have to.
If something is ended on an ugly note, what happens? It becomes a festering, ugly elephant in the room. So what I think we're going to do is set Woody up right now, for Tammy's sake,
On the grooming table.
on the grooming table. So this is not to groom. He looks cute.
But isn't it interesting the woman never said anything, or was
No,
that what you
no,
would
because
expect?
in our society, Nancy, bad behavior is almost expected,
Yeah.
honey. And you're not supposed to correct the dog. It's sad. You wouldn't let your kid go whack the doctor upside the head, but they let the dog, they think biting, oh, he doesn't like his nails. What's wrong with this picture?
Well, I remember when, we had the 2 litters and we were coming out all the time with the puppies. We got them when they were 9 weeks. Anita was there too.
Sure.
We went through everything.
Absolutely.
we had them on the table. I mean, we took them through
But
every
people
facet
don't do that.
of life that they would be experiencing.
Well, it shows now, doesn't
And
it?
it was a wonderful
Right.
experience.
Right.
And, I mean, it's just unfortunate that people can't all experience that.
Well, when we have experts who are getting their education,
But you know, that's the problem, you go to, you know, like PetSmart or Petco, and you have people groom, and I told my friend, she was taking her dogs there, and I said, why, those people are people that are hired off the street, they know nothing about
well,
dogs.
one thing about, doesn't matter about the haircut. The haircut's nothing. We've all
Right.
had good haircuts and bad
Right.
haircuts, no big deal. The one thing about the bigger places, first of all, they groom in front of people.
Yeah,
So you don't have anybody who's being abusive. The thing I don't like about them is they're not tied. So it really, you spend more time trying to keep the dog on the table than actually teaching the dog.
but I mean, what a benefit when we came up here like every 2 months.
Yeah, every 2 months it's a new,
We met
Maturity
every
stage.
2 months, the whole, whoever could come, and we went through everything. And, I mean, it paid off.
yeah, yeah.
I have
But-
a wonderful, wonderful dog.
Right, but that's what we do here. Can you move that into the center, Carolyn?
Yeah.
Please?
That was very, very,
Now,
very
those are-
beneficial.
You know something's coming. Take a deep breath. Look at the anxiety.
You know something too, it could be that the woman has simply raised her rates and that she did something that troubled the dog terribly and she didn't even have to.
That's, yeah, no, I'm not, I'm not. I just said, the best thing to do is go back and resolve it.
Exactly, I was saying this
To Tammy, yeah. Yeah, we have to be careful.
You don't want to point fingers.
That's a very good point.
Oh, yeah, I'm,
But usually, if that happens, they say, I've raised my rates.
That is a
Usually,
good point. They-
yeah. You don't usually just spring it on somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't matter why. It truly doesn't matter.
Just happened.
We can't do anything but treat symptoms.
If you take her back, I don't know if I'd question the woman about it anymore, but I'd just say, I'm gonna stay this time, something happened last
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
Calm
that's exactly
down.
right.
Yeah.
But when you're a person who lacks a little bit of confidence yourself, you almost go in there apologizing because you're.
that's me.
But it is,
So
It's
you would go
devastating.
in and confront.
Yeah.
A lot of other people wouldn't.
but it is devastating when something happens to your dog, because they're like your,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
you know, I think that even happens at my vet. My vet is
Sure it does.
prepared for the dogs to misbehave.
Right.
So we went to get the influenza shot, and they were all about, here's like half a gallon of treats to keep her occupied. And I'm like, she'll just stand there. It's really.
Oh, no, you say, you don't give my dog that.
She dumped them in my hands. Her idea was,
No.
but of course, at that point, Petey got the sniff and she was all about that. But I kept saying to her, really, she can stand and get her shot just fine, no treats. I don't give my dog treats, but they just don't really believe
That's
it.
our society.
Because, I'm about to put an injection in your dog, and if your dog jumps because you're mistaken about how your dog's gonna behave, then I have a problem.
But there's
That's
so
the
many
thought.
dogs that are so badly behaved. Veterinarians very often have the worst dogs there is because they assume dogs are all bad. I took two dogs to the vet yesterday. I took Haiti and the Black Shepherd and Fargo. And the vet came in and got down on her knees. I said, don't you dare treat my dog that way. The vet tech, oh, hi. I said, don't you talk baby talk to my dogs.
They do that. They come in, they get down on the floor, they get
No
all
way.
left down.
You need to speak up. If that were a child, you would speak up. I've had a veterinarian that threw they had canned dog food in there. And they threw canned dog food on the floor. And I didn't even know it was happening. And the dog went to eat it and she popped it with a shot. I said, don't you ever do that to my dog again. I said, that floor is filthy. Don't you dare feed my dog off that floor.
wait,
Where do sick dogs go?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really.
Boy, we got that handled right now. I don't do that. Woody, let's go play. That's a given. Now, if you want to be the bad guy, I'll be the good guy, or vice versa. Easy. Can you see, Stephen?
Yes.
Kate, back off. The dog.
Good boy would.
Okay, you can come over here.
Okay.
You need to get in the wheelchair, Tammy?
No, I'm good. Okay.
If somebody can scoot a
Can't
chair
bring
over
chair
here.
over here.
Now, everything has to be safe. The rest of you can come over here too if you, I mean, it's fine. We have to treat this as if it's the most normal thing in the world.
Thank you very much.
You can't treat this like you're approaching the dog because you're going to chop off his head. I mean, it's got to be, this is normal. Good dog. Now, I really disagree when people don't tie dogs. You spend all your time arguing with the dog about staying there. If you want to come over here, Carolyn. Now, when we have a problem dog, okay, the Q collar is phenomenal because I can tie the dog's head up with one collar. He doesn't actually have a Q. We actually need one. We actually need one. He's got 2 Q collars on, but I got a slip lead under here. And that was what I had at the time.
You wait.
All right, good boy. Now, we're not treating him like there's anything going to happen. Good boy. This is the most normal thing in the world, isn't it? That's what it has to be. The most normal thing in the world.
Good wait.
There you go. Now, your voice is telling him that it's okay.
You okay?
There you go.
Good boy.
Okay, the little kid had a tough time at the dentist last time. You know what?
You okay?
Too bad.
You're fine.
My sister is 2 years younger than I am. When she was 6, the nurse was rough giving her a shot.
Good wait.
Oh, no.
And from that time on,
You're fine, lady.
knock it off. You're fine. Good dog.
Good job with.
You know what? Too bad. This is the safest way in the world to train a dog to be groomed. This should be done before the dog ever goes to a groomer. This handling. This is 1/3 of a good dog, is the handling.
You're okay.
Good dog.
If I may, one thing I was with regard to when you get your first one,
Yeah.
handle their claws a lot.
Right.
Right
But
away.
it's not grab at them. It is handling them. You own every square inch of this little dog from the tip of the tail to his tummy and everything on it, to his butt.
Good boy.
Easy. Good boy. Now what could he do? Nothing. Nothing. Now there's nothing but praise. So if this dog were taking offense and he's not tied to something, what do I do?
You're okay.
I'm grabbing for him. That's all you can do. So now if he's fallen off or he's, you've grabbed him, you've hurt him, you can't let go. He's bit me.
You're okay.
Good dog. So if you want to go that way.
Good boy.
Now his face would be the most difficult, wouldn't it? Easy.
Good easy.
Now Carolyn can do the correction. What a good dog.
Good boy. Good easy.
La 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 la.
Good boy.
This nonsense of grabbing and chopping at. I watched a TV program where the woman couldn't groom her dog. He had big utility scissors and he's chopping at the dog's hair. It's like he's gonna poke his eye out. You make this a fight to start with. Why? Now, he may react to this. Because scissors are one thing that a lot of good boy, what a guy. Scissors are one thing that work really well to give them a little reminder. Good boy. And there's, done correctly, I mean, you're not hitting, you're not beating them with scissors. But this is a tool that can give a, I'm talking that. Good boy, look at there. But you want to do your conditioning
Good.
so that the dog isn't afraid. It's not about the haircut. Now, would you say he trusts me? Yeah.
He's not giving me any signs that he
No,
doesn't.
because he knows he's safe. Now he's shaking. Good boy.
Good boy.
But you've got to use all the tools that they're going to use. Otherwise, think about this coming at your face.
Good, easy.
Okay.
Good boy. Good, easy.
Oh, what an excellent dog.
Good boy, Woody.
So you're absolutely right, Mary. It might not have been that ugly, but it was to the dog.
Good, easy.
You know, I talk kind of rougher sometimes. And you hurt my feelings. Well,
Good boy.
now this is what I'm talking about being involved. You're doing perfect. Now, would we say this goes a long way to resolve a fear?
Absolutely. That's a good boy, Woody. Good, easy.
Do, 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 do.
Just hearing that snap of the scissors is
Yeah.
a big deal.
You wait.
The other thing that can be a slicker brush is another thing that can be a little bit scary. But when you look at a dog like this, all these tools are bigger than his head. Good boy.
Boy, Woody.
So as I wanted to start doing this dog by myself, the first 2 times I absolutely would have somebody here because I don't want the dog hurt, but I do want to maintain control. So now what can he do? I'm standing on it. He can't do a thing. I can tighten it too by just moving my foot. So even a dog that's going to be huge with a lot of hair that you're going to teach to lie down to do a side and then flip it over and do the other side, it's best to start this way. We don't care about fuzzies. Don't start doing that. Because the big thing about this is teaching this dog to be handled. Now this dog does not like handling. He's put up with me handling every square inch of him.
Good, easy.
And he liked it. I would. Oh, you love me. Look at your cute little face. Okay?
Right, maybe the whites of his eyes
Right.
stay
Right.
away, so.
Well, first of all, you're relaxed and you're here. Second of all, this is familiar to him.
Yes.
So when you have somebody who understands handling, then it's much easier. If you have somebody who does things totally different than what the dog knows, just like throwing food on the floor and letting the dog eat off the floor. Oh, that just threw me. And of course, by the time it was done, the dog had eaten the food because don't. Now I can have my face right here. We can have a picture. And guess who's not going to bite me? Because I've got this line.
Good, easy, Woody.
Okay?
His eyes are a lot more relaxed.
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. This is the resolution to an issue.
A little bit. Is he still vibrating?
Okay.
Good boy.
Now look at the whites of Tammy's eyes. They've relaxed too. Good boy. Yeah, you did a good job. Good job. So whatever you need done, the cue collar fits it.
Yes.
2 lines on the dog allow you to safely correct and control that dog without it hurting anybody. without it being unsafe. So if you were grooming him sitting on a stool with a table, tie his head up, you have a second line, you behave, he'd sit right there. But truthfully, one of the best things you could do would be to learn to do him yourself.
And that's my plan.
Yeah. And that's good for you. There is a danger to it though, you know. You start doing a good job on him. Can you look at my dog? Well, you're my best friend. I suppose I could. It's a sickness.